Good morning, folks. Again, Bobo's with you, coming to you from Three's Inn here in icy Midwest Ohio. I'm going to depart from my normal track here, if you will, kind of go off on a side track. As Ron might say, I'm going to go ahead and intentionally digress. Okay, here we go. I want to talk a little bit this morning about wisdom. It's a quality that over my years I've really come to appreciate and I strive for. Have yet to achieve it or to acquire it, but I will continue to reach out toward wisdom. All my life I've gravitated toward older folks. I don't know why. I'm just intrigued with them, and I'm intrigued with their stories and with what they have to tell me. That's been true since I was a kid. I can remember sitting at my Uncle Delvin's house by the hour just listening to him talk. Oh my God, we had so much fun. And I laughed so hard at him. But he was teaching me things about what life was like in the early 1900s and about our family. I learned quite a bit from him. And then I went into the Air Force. I always gravitated toward the old heads, if you will. Beginning at Nellis, they used to have a stag bar in the officers club. That went by the wayside, as you might imagine. At any rate, I'd get off work, about 4:30, 4:15, something like that. At Nellis, which is outside of Las Vegas, we began our days about 5 o'clock in the morning because it was cool then, and we could load weapons out on the ramp without harming ourselves or dropping of dehydration or whatever else. I mean, at that time we were strictly in training. So anyway, we would get done about 4 o'clock, and on Friday afternoons I'd race over to the officers club because about 4:30, 4:45 is when the pilots started drifting in. And my God, I loved sitting there. I knew where they congregated, kind of in the corner in this booth area. And I'd get in there and just kind of slide back and melt into the wall. These guys had some stories to tell like you cannot believe. I can't even get close to them. But I would sit there and listen to these guys. And some of the things they talked about came back to help me years later as I was in my flying career. Then as I got into pilot training and into flying myself, I always tended to gravitate toward the old heads, the older guys in the squad. Love flying with them because I picked up so much from them that you don't pick up in an academic environment. Now, in the academic environment, you pick up knowledge, but talking to these guys with their experiences and so forth, you pick up wisdom. And that was a premium. Then in later years, when I got out of the Air Force and I stumbled into sobriety, literally, I was kind of lost. Didn't know where I was, didn't know where I was going. I was just kind of out there wandering around. I had a religious upbringing through the Lutheran Church, and I had not been practicing for years. But it just didn't feel right. There was just something missing there for me. And then one day I was walking through the Minneapolis airport, and I stopped in the bookstore and I saw this book. This book is entitled The Wisdom of Native Americans, of the Native Americans. It's edited by Kenton Nurburn. And I thought, well, let's have a read. So I stood there for a minute and thumbed through it, and I thought, this is the book for me. And as I got to delving into it more and more, I really related to this. I want to share a couple things here with you. I used my paper clips for. You know, if you ever run out of paper clips, you're screwed. Because I went to Sam's once to buy some paper clips. You cannot buy a bag less than 10,000 paper clips. I've got enough paper clips here now to last me and 4 generations. going forward. But at any rate, I digress, Ron. So the first thing I come across is something that I try to keep in mind all the time. It's a quote from Chief Joseph Nez Perce. It does not require many words to speak the truth. It does not require many words to speak the truth. Think of the political speeches we hear day in and day out today. How smooth must the language of the whites when they can make right look like wrong and wrong look like right. Black Hawk sock. How smooth. And then another example. When Micmac people used to have counsel, the old men would speak and tell the young men what to do. And the young men would listen and do what the old men told them to do. The white men have changed all that. Now the young men speak and the old men listen. I believe the Micmac counsel was far better. Boy, do we see this a lot today. And I think we've become lost in a lot of respects. So anyway, you get the idea. I just savored these thoughts. I still do today, and frequently I'll pull this book down again and reread it because it's that good. So here of late, I picked up Dennis Prager's Rational Bible, started reading it, the first 5 verses of it. And in the Bible, he gives the Bible verse. Right now I'm in Exodus. He gives the verse, and then he has an explanation following the verse. And the explanations are they're fantastic. I really enjoy them. Now, Dennis Prager, aside from being a news commentator today and the head of Prager University, is a Hebrew scholar. And he's able to translate the old Hebrew into something that we can relate to today and explain what these verses actually means. So the other day I was reading through it and I came across a section on the devaluating of the old means wisdom isn't valued. This is one of the essays he wrote. Throughout history, not only in ancient Israel, virtually every society greatly valued old people because old people were associated with wisdom and wisdom was valued. So he goes on and he says, in the contemporary world, especially in the West, youth is increasingly valued more than age. That is either a reflection of the fact that wisdom is less valued and therefore the old are less valued, or the old are less valued and therefore wisdom is less valued. It is hard to know which came first, the devaluing of the old or the devaluing of wisdom. But whatever caused the other, both are tragedies. And then he kind of sums it up here. The devaluation of old people is a tragedy for their sake, for society's sake, and for the sake of the young who can so benefit from being with and learning from the old. Anyone who has or has had a bond with a grandparent or a mentor knows how true this is. And the devaluation of the wisdom is an even greater tragedy. We live in an age that values, or at least claims to value, knowledge. But knowledge without wisdom tells you nothing about how to lead your life. It's kind of funny that this came right now and surfaced because I have some things I want to talk about here in a couple coming videos, specifically pilot retention and the T7 coming on board. And before I get into what my thoughts are on that, I thought it probably best I give you a background on where I'll be coming from in that respect. So hang in there. I know I'm a little bit off track. I'm on a side rail, if you will, but I'm going to tie all this together here soon. It's good to see everybody, and we'll chat with you soon. Like as soon as I get this thing in the file, then I'm going to start my next one. This is Bobo Bass Gear. Stop.